Good morning, everyone. I welcome you all to another episode of Engineering with Shamil. And today we are going to discuss about the importance of having a detection system and how that detection system, if it was employed in the building in the Aliganj town in Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh, India, if it was installed in that building in that particular incident, which took place on 22nd of June 2026, how would the detection system be helpful, would be a life-saving tool for the occupants who were trapped inside the building. So let us see what are the requirements of the detection system, and let us see first of all let us see what exactly happened in the Lucknow. What were the some of the incidents that took place on the day of the fire? So there was a foul smell before fire. So one of the witnesses who were there, they actually noticed the foul smell, and when they looked outside, they actually saw that there was a huge fire engulfing the building. So this witness, he saw the fire. He saw the fire, and he did not. He saw the fire by chance. It was coincidental. It was coincidental. It's only because of the smell only he noticed that there was a fire. But before that, he did not receive any alarm, he did not receive any warning. And by the time people saw the fire, by the time it was communicated to all other people, the fire became too huge and it became very late to extinguish. So a local resident saw the fire. The local resident said that he was resting in his room and there was a foul smell outside. Because of the smell, he noticed the fire was there in the building. So this is what happened. So the witness came to know, so witness happened to know that there was a fire coincidentally because of the smell. But there should be a system which detects the fire and alerts the occupants so that they can take necessary measures to escape from the building. So the key detail was that the fire was already producing smoke, but there was no alarm alerted anyone in the Lucknow fire incident. So let us understand the science of fire detection. So first of all, we need to know what are the stages of the fire. So we this is actually a simple classification of fire. So we can classify the stages of the fire into three parts. So the first one is the incipient or the smoldering fire. So this is a kind of fire which produces smoke and heat, but there is no visible flame in it. Okay, we cannot see the visible flame, but you can see the starting stages, the very early stages of the fire. So you can see it in the form of smoke and heat. So to detect this one, we need to employ the use of smoke detectors and the heat detectors. So that is the incipient or the smoldering fires. Then the second stage comes the visible flame. So that is the moment when the fire becomes visible. Now, when the fire becomes visible, that's when the flames are produced, and that is actually visible to the human eye, to the naked eye. So but the thing is that if you have seen the flame, that means we are actually a little late. We are late actually when it comes to if we have seen the flame. So we need to take immediate action. Now, the last step, that is the extreme stage, is the fully developed fire. That's when the fire becomes huge. It spreads rapidly. It grows exponentially over time. So this is when the presence of the emergency responders or the firefighters are required. So there are three stages. We have the incipient stage, we have the visible flame, and then the last one we have the fully developed flames, fully developed fires. Now, the goal of the fire detection system is that it is to catch the fire, it is to detect the fire at the early stage before it grows, before the smoke spreads, and before all the exits are blocked. So, when the fire is at the incipient stage, that's when the fire needs to be detected. Now, let us see what are the types of the detection systems involved. So, in detection system, we have two things: we have detectors and we have the alarms. So, let us see what all smoke detectors are involved. So smoke detectors, we have two types of smoke detectors. So the first one is the ionization smoke detector. Ionization smoke detector will detect small particles, small smoke particles, and this used for the fast fires. Okay, so for such fires, ionization detectors are useful. So these are commonly installed in kitchens and offices. That is where ionization smoke detectors are installed. Then we have the photoelectric smoke detectors. Photoelectric smoke detectors will detect the larger smoke particles which is in the smoldering fire, that is in the ones which are getting developed. Then for these smoke detectors, they are normally installed in the bedrooms and hallways. So the difference between a ionization smoke detector and photoelectric smoke detector lies in the operation principle as well, because in for ionization smoke detector they use a radioactive element which is there, this thing, so they have a separate operation, whereas in the photoelectric smoke detector it employs the use of light to detect the presence of smoke. So this is the difference between the ionization smoke detector and the photoelectric smoke detector. Now, Apart from the smoke detectors, we have other types of detectors. So some of them are the heat detector. So heat detector, there are two types of heat detector, which is here, mentioned in the how it works section. So as you see over here, it detects the rapid. Sorry, it detects the heat detector detects the rapid temperature rise. Okay, that is one thing. And then there is a fixed temperature heat detector as well, which is not mentioned over here. So the rapid temperature rise is basically how fast the temperature changes. So that is actually the heat detector's principle. So that is number one. Then second one is fixed temperature means there's a preset temperature. So if the temperature in the room reaches that particular temperature, or if it crosses that particular temperature, then that's when the heat detector detects the fire. So this heat detector is installed in areas like kitchens and garages. Okay. Now the next type is the flame detector. Flame detector is used for detecting the UV and the IR radiation from flames. So it is used for detecting the ultraviolet or the infrared radiation from flames. So again, the flame detectors are classified based on the types of the light. So there are UV flame detectors, and then there are IR flame detectors. So the flame detectors are installed in the industrial areas. It is best suitable for the industrial areas. Then we have the aspirating detectors. So aspirating detectors are the ones which are used in the data centers and clean rooms. It is a separate system, so it has a control panel, and it is actually a set of sampling pipes. So these sampling pipes will run to the rooms inside, and then they will suck the air into the sensor. Okay, there's a sensor which is connected outside. Okay, and then the sensor will send the signal to the fire alarm control panel. So this is the operation of the aspirator. So aspirator is basically to check the quality of the air, whether there's any presence of the smoke detectors inside the air in that particular room. This is the function of the aspirating detector. So this is about the detectors and alarms in the second type of detector. This is about the detectors apart from the smoke detectors. So we have seen the photoelectric smoke detector, we have seen the ionization smoke detector, we have seen the heat detector, flame detector, and aspirating detector. Now, let us see what are the fire code requirements for the detection and the alarm systems. Okay, so the first one is that for the smoke detectors are required in all sleeping rooms, in all sleeping areas, in the corridors, and in the common areas. Smoke detectors are required. That is number one. Number two, audible alarms. So audible alarms, the minimum sound level required in the bedroom, it should be 75 dB at the below level. Okay, it should be 75 dB. That is one thing. That is one criteria that we need to remember. The third one is the visual alarms. So visual alarms are basically the strobes are basically for the hearing impaired people. That is what the ones who are having difficulty in hearing. For those people, the strobe lights are placed over there. Okay, so that means during the time of alarm, the strobe lights will flash. Then the next category is the interconnection. So that means the one alarm will trigger all the devices. Okay, so that is interconnection aspect. That is the advantage of that is the feature of the fire alarm system. So that means if there is like around 100 devices, when one detector activates, then it activates the entire sounders, entire notification appliances. So that is the feature of the fire alarm system. Then the fire alarm systems operate under a battery backup. So as per NFPA 72, there is a standard there's a timing for operation. There is a duration actually for the battery, that is during normal operation. It will have to serve 24 hours. During the backup time, during the alarm condition, it has to go for 5 minutes minimum. uh, Again, it depends on the client. Actually, in Qatar, it actually takes 30 minutes. 30 minutes is the requirement for the alarm time. So the feature of the battery backup is that the importance of battery backup is that it is to maintain operation during the time of power failure. That is what battery backup is all about. Then we have the regular testing. So regular testing comes under the maintenance part. So every month we have to test the fire alarm systems, and there we have annual inspection as well. So these are some of the points that we need to take care for. These are some of the requirements that we need to follow when it comes to the fire detection and alarm system. So, in the Lucknow fire incidents, we need to understand what all the building got wrong. So the first thing is that there were no auto smoke detectors, so there was no question of detection over there. None of the occupants actually were aware that there was a fire present in the building. Then there was no audible alarms. Again, there was no notification appliances, so there was no warning sound involved. There was no visual alarms, no strobe lights. There was no public address for sending out the voice instructions. So the building was actually totally devoid of the fire detection and the alarm systems. So the first warning that actually came was actually a coincidental this thing. Because of the smell, that's when the fire came. But by the time then he but by the time the witness noticed the fire actually took over the entire building. It became very late. So we had to depend on the firefighters, and by the time the firefighters came, it was not easy for them also to enter the building. So because of that, the occupants were trapped, and the 15 lives, 15 people had 15 people died in the event, in the mishap. So we need to understand, now we have explained a lot about the fire detection requirements and all, but we need to understand, we again need to understand what is the importance of the early detection, why early detection matters. So the value of early detection is very critical. So first of all, it has several benefits. So the first benefit is that it gives you more escape time. That is, once the alarm is perceived to the human ears, then it's just a matter of minutes. It's just a matter of minutes. You need to take instant decision, and the occupants have to take instant decision and then escape from the building. Because in case if you delay by a minute, what happens is the smoke will start growing. The fire will start growing exponentially, and because of that, the smoke will incapacitate people, and they will be unable to move, or they will be unable to move. And because of that, they'll be suffocate. They'll be having suffocation. They'll be having uh, yeah, they'll be having suffocation, and it will be very difficult for them to move, and less visibility also will be there. So this is one advantage of having more escape time. Second thing is that there will be reduced panic. So when you're having the early warning detection system, the it gives you it gives you more time, and it also gives you a calm evacuation so that you can evacuate calmly. Then the third one is a smaller fire. So when you're detecting early, you are detecting at the incipient stage of the fire. So that means the fire will be actually very small, so it will be easier to extinguish. So and the fourth one is the smoke spread will be less. So the smoke spread is really less because of the early detection, already action would have been already taken. Okay, so action would be taken either in the form of the automatic extinguishing system, or because of the either in the form of the fire extinguishers, or due to the response of the occupants. Okay, so because of that, the smoke spread will be less. And the last one is that there will be a better rescue. That means the firefighters, when they arrive on site, they will be able to enter the building easily without any hesitation, without any difficulty, and they can rescue the occupants from the building. So these are the advantages of the early warning. So the effective alarm signals that is required for the people inside the building, they are comprising of four types. So the first one is the audible alarm. So the audible alarm is basically a loud distinctive voice, and it is used for waking the sleeping occupants. That is, in case the occupants are sleeping during the time of fire, so in order to wake them up, there will be a loud distinctive voice for the distinct. So such alarms are under the category of audible alarm. Then we have the visual alarm. So visual alarm are basically for the hearing impaired people, since they have difficulty in hearing. So logically, they can actually see the light, and they can understand that there is a fire. Then we have the voice announcement. So voice announcement is where you actually use clear instruction, where you actually deliver clear instruction, and this reduces the confusion among people. Then the last one is the text or mobile alerts. That is, in case if there is a fire, the fire alarm control panel will send to the auto dialer, and the auto dialer will actually send to the auto dialer. Now auto dialer is a component which has the numbers of the owners and the facility management teams. So in case if there is any fire, the fire message will be actually going to the numbers which are stored in the auto dialer, so that the management will receive the message, and they will receive the message, and they can take the initiative to inform all the occupants that there is a fire in the building. Okay, so this is one thing about these are the different signals which is involved in the detection system. So the key takeaway is that early warning detection system saves lives. That is number one. So smoke detectors and alarms are provided so that it gives you an early indication that there is a fire, and we can escape immediately as we come to know that there is a fire. Okay, because the thing is that if we delay by a few minutes, there's a chance that the fire can grow exponentially, and it will be complete disaster. Okay, so so if there is an early warning system, it will give you an information to escape from the building before the fire blocks are exits, before the fire blocks the exits, then before the smoke incapacitates, and before it's too late. So these are the features of the early warning system. So the Lucknow fire, which took place on 22nd of June 2026, did not have any kind of fire detection system, and that's why so many people were trapped. So with this, I conclude the video on the detection system. In case if you have any queries or feedbacks or doubts regarding this particular topic, please do share them in the comment box, and I will be happily obliged to answer these questions for you. Before I sign off, I would humbly request all of you to kindly like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Engineering with Shamil, so that it will be a motivation for me to produce more such content regards to engineering. So thank you once again for listening, and I wish all of you a good day ahead. Thank you.